The Miami Dolphins drafted quarterback Quinn Ewers out of Texas in the 7th round with a 231st overall pick. And if we are going to be honest, this was absolute highway robbery by Chris Grier and the Dolphins front office. Ewers was severely underdrafted, and although it is just going to be a developmental quarterback in the Dolphins system, to get one as talented and as high value as they did, it was arguably one of the top picks in the entire NFL draft. And as Ewers will make his transition to Miami, I want to welcome him in. We're going to talk a lot about Ewers on today's show, but welcome Quinn to the 305. Hit that thumbs up icon to show him that we got his back. Well, I wanted to show this because I talked about Ewers being a steal. He was one of my highest graded picks the Dolphins made during the 25 NFL draft, but I'm not the only one that felt that way. ESPN's Matt Miller and NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah, two of the top NFL draft analysts out there, both had high praise for Grier in Miami for making that pick in the 7th round. Matt Miller had Quinn Ewers as his 80th ranked player, and Daniel Jeremiah, one of the best in the business, if not the best, had him as his 119th ranked player, which means the Dolphins got over 100 player value slots on Ewers, which is why I gave this pick in our draft grades video an A+. Is he the best player Miami drafted? No. But when I give out my draft grades and analyze each pick the Dolphins make in the NFL draft, most of it has to do with the upside, the need of that position, and the value in round and spot that Miami took him in. And I'll continue to say, there is no world that I was thinking I was going to be living in that Quinn Ewers was going to be a 7th round pick. I thought he was going to be an early day 3 pick. I thought an expected 4th, 5th round. I didn't expect him to go round 2 or 3, but round 7 was absolutely egregious. He'll slide into this Dolphins QB depth chart and not have any pressure on him, which I think is very important for his long-term development in the NFL, because there is a lot that he has to develop on. But when you have Tua, who, although, yes, he's got a lot of injury concerns and durability concerns, is one of the more reliable quarterbacks in terms of you know what you are getting on the football field, that is a good thing to have as your QB1. Zach Wilson is a wild card at QB2, but he's experienced and he's got a lot of veteran experience and leadership. So Quinn's going to be able to learn between two guys that have been top 5 picks in the NFL and are players that have been and seen a lot. And I think this is going to be clear. Like I know that he is a developmental third quarterback, and it's hard to get this giddy about a guy that, if all goes well, we'll never see the football field, right? Like, in a perfect world, Tua never gets hurt, and he proves that he is that QB1 of the future that he signed and got his contract last offseason, and you never see Quinn Ewers play for the Dolphins on a real game. But to be able to stash a QB that has his talent, arm strength, and upside in the 7th round as your QB3, that's just unbelievable value. And Mike McDaniel, we could talk a lot about his leadership abilities, but he can coach a football team, and boy, can he coach an offensive side of the ball and quarterbacks. He's going to be able to coach and work on Ewers quite a bit, and I love that. I gave it an A+, but I want to know your grade. Grade the selection of Quinn Ewers. Over the last week, we've asked you to grade a lot of picks, but I want to know specifically, after a week of the NFL draft being done, how do you grade the pick in the 7th round? Let me know your thoughts. Well, I think it's important to revisit who the quarterbacks that were taken ahead of Quinn Ewers. We're not going to talk about Shedeur Sanders in the 5th. We're not going to talk about any of the guys taken on day 1, 2, or 3, although I think you could make a case that Ewers is on the same tier level as a prospect as Dylan Gabriel, who went at the end of day 2 in the 3rd round. But when you see Kyle McCord, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Graham fucking Mertz, Cam Miller, and Curtis Rourke all go ahead of Quinn Ewers late in day 3, I can't fathom that. Look, I'm being serious. I don't want to be looked at as this Quinn Ewers glazer or anything like that. I like the player. I like the value for Miami. But Graham Mertz taken ahead of Quinn Ewers? Cam Miller? Like, I don't want to act like I know more than the NFL front office as the coach of the GMs, but I can't fathom that. Like, I can maybe understand a little bit of Curtis Rourke. I was a big fan of Curtis Rourke and had him as someone I was targeting on day 3 of the draft if Ewers was taken ahead of Miami, because we knew the Dolphins were going to take a developmental third quarterback. But I still cannot get over the fact that Graham freaking Mertz was taken above Quinn Ewers. Was Ewers the most elite player at the college level? No. Is he the best prospect? No. But like I truly have gotten worked up over this for no reason. Ewers did not have the best 2024 season after the 2023 year. A lot of people thought Quinn could have came out after 1 year of starting in 2023 and been a early day 3, late day 2 pick. He didn't. He went back to school, and he didn't show the improvements that people wanted to see from Quinn Ewers. It didn't happen. It was unfortunate because a lot of people thought if he had a good 2024 season, he would have been able to be a first-round pick, hell, even a top 10 pick. Just didn't see that progression that you wanted. He turned the ball over way more. Now, when you look at Ewers as a prospect and his scouting profile, if you will, he excels in RPO schemes, and when he gets the ball out of his hands quickly and is decisive, he is very good. That's his strong point. And a reason why he was linked to Miami so much in the pre-draft process was, well, the Dolphins met with him and had dinner with him at his pro day, but they also run a similar offense to Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. A lot of NFL kind of similarities there. The quick bubble screen game, the RPO game, throwing over the middle of the field, it's very similar. And Ewers' arm talent is really, really good, man. If you want to talk about him as a prospect, the number one thing you are going to circle in terms of a positive is that he's got a cannon. Like, he sometimes can just, not even with a base, just flick that wrist, and you see this velocity, the ball comes out of his hands, the way he can toss it down the football field. It's impressive. But there's a lot that he has to work on, and it's the reason why he's a 7th-round pick. Very sloppy footwork, leads to a lot of inaccuracies. He does not have good pocket awareness, held onto the football way too long when he was not getting, that's the issue with Quinn. When he drops back in a 5-step drop and has to read the defense post-snap, that's where he struggles. But when there's plays designed where it's RPO, one read, throw, that is where we see the good. And then the durability is a concern as well. Quinn has battled injuries the last 2 years as the Texas Longhorns starting quarterback. And we're going to talk more about here with Ewers in a second. But hit that sub button for daily Dolphins content, sometimes videos twice a day, whether it's news, rumors, scouting profiles, or discussions around this football team. We'll have you covered. Subscribe today. Let's continue the conversation with Ewers here, because there's a lot to be made about his inability to be accurate under pressure, and some of that is because he holds on to the football too long. The difference between when he has a clean pocket and under pressure, it's so drastic. And I know this is a common occurrence, like when the quarterbacks get pressure, their numbers dip and fall off a cliff. But look at the difference in QB rating. Look at the difference in turnover-worthy play percentage. Like, when Ewers has time to throw and he's decisive and gets the ball out of his hands, he is very, very good. And that's kind of the point here with Quinn. When he's decisive and he knows what is happening post-snap, he's good. That's the issue, is that I sometimes believe he gets fooled, or I don't know. Like, talking with Tom Downey, our Chat Sports draft analyst, like, he says he thinks that Quinn's football IQ and the mental side of Quinn is good. He believes that. But for whatever reason, when Ewers was forced to just diagnose the defense, that's where he struggles. But that's where coaching can come into it, right? You have so many experienced coaches on this offensive staff. Mike McDaniel, Bobby Slowick, Frank Smith, or Darrell Bevel. Like, you have really good, experienced offensive minds there, to where I think they're just going to be able to get into Ewers and have the new in the mindset seep into him, which makes me excited about him just learning from Tua, Zach Wilson, and his coaching staff, and getting better, cleaning up the footwork, the inaccuracies, and becoming someone that may be a starter or at least a solid backup quarterback in the future. Wrapping up the conversation here in 1 second, but make sure you get your jerseys today. Chatsports.com/Dolphins jersey is the link. That description is in the comments and description of today's video. We have all different sizes, different players, doesn't matter. Get yours today. Tua, Kenneth Grant, Jalen Phillips, whole 9 yards. As we continue to talk about Quinn Ewers here, there are improvements. And if you haven't been able to tell by now, one of the largest improvements that he needs to do is clean up his footwork. It's just leads to too many inaccuracies when he gets pressure up the middle, when he steps up in the pocket. The footwork that he has sometimes doesn't get his lower half engaged, which means it's all upper arms, which could lead to inaccurate throws. Like, I believe the footwork is where everything starts for Quinn Ewers and his ascension potentially to being an NFL level quarterback. He also has to become much more durable. This is one of the largest things that he has. When you look at it, he had an oblique injury, he had an AC joint sprain, ankle sprain, like left clavicle sprain. He had a sports hernia in 2020 in high school. Like, he has had a lot of injuries throughout his career. That is something that needs to improve. He also has to get the ball out quicker, as I continue to mention. 23.6% of the pressures he faced last season for Texas were on him. His pressure to sack rate was also 23.2% and 25.2% over the past 2 years. So he simply just has to be better at getting the ball out of his hands and not holding the ball. You saw what happened in the Texas-Ohio State game on the final play where it ultimately lost Texas the game. Got sacked by Jackson. That one didn't give him a lot of a chance, but just simply knowing and having a more feel and presence inside the pocket is something very, very important for Quinn Ewers. He also has to take care of the ball a lot more. Turnover-worthy play percentage jumped up, went up 4% in 2024 after a really solid season in 2023. Career 3.1 percentage. Has to take care of the football. Also, as I'm looking down at my stats here, this is an egregious stat. He had 7 fumbles. 5 of them were lost in 2024. Did not hold on to the football. Has to get that grip strength a little bit better. Final word on Quinn Ewers. It's incredible value. As you have seen so far, I am very happy about this pick. 7th round, 231 overall, to get a player. Yes, he has a lot of deficiencies and a lot of things he has to work on and improve on. But for him to be as, I guess, upside and talented as he is, I'm excited to get him in the 7th round. He's going to make watching preseason games a lot of fun. Him and Zach Wilson, are you kidding me? We get to watch those two QBs work for 4 quarters in the preseason. It's going to make it a lot more fun. So make sure you hit that sub button because we'll have videos out every single day in the offseason. And when we get to August, when the preseason rolls around, we'll have watch parties, we'll have breakdowns, we'll have the whole 9 yards. So hit that sub button to join the channel today.